Okay, so imagine a school where, like, the biggest drama isn't, exams and grades.
Right.
But a catnapping and a secret, like, stowaway on a broomstick holiday.
Wow. Okay.
It sounds crazy, but, like, the lengths that one young witch goes to for her furry friend,
Yeah.
it really makes you think about loyalty.
It does.
We call these moments of intense personal connection
Yeah.
and, like, quiet defiance, mindful moments.
Interesting.
Where values, like, clash with regulations.
Yeah.
And today we're immersed in just that kind of scenario at Miss Cackle's Academy for Witches.
Okay.
As the summer term begins with a totally unexpected blizzard.
Oh, wow.
Which really sets the stage for a friendship tested by rules and a seaside trip with, like, a lot of hidden intentions.
Wow.
Our focus today is on Mildred Hubble.
I've heard of her.
She's a second-year student with a knack for, mishaps and her far from regulation tabby cat.
Okay, tabby cat.
Tabby.
Cabby.
Yeah.
Okay, so what really jumps out at me is this disruption of expectations, right?
Yeah.
The work.
Yeah, totally.
The summer term, you think warmth, you think, sunshine.
Right.
But they get hit with this violent snowstorm.
I know.
These young witches return in summer dresses.
Summer dresses in a blizzard.
To face these really harsh conditions.
Right.
And it really makes you think about the resilience built into the Academy's culture.
Yeah.
This sharp contrast between what they're expecting and what they get.
Yeah.
Such a fascinating way to start things off.
Totally. And the weather isn't the only thing changing.
Oh.
Miss Hardbroom, you know her.
Of course. Very strict.
With her classic, pragmatism, she decides the girls' black and gray checked uniform is too frivolous.
Too frivolous for Miss Hardbroom.
And she makes them switch to plain black.
Wow.
The students, of course, find this pretty amusing.
Yeah, I bet.
But in the middle of all this uniform drama,
right.
Mildred makes her typical dramatic entrance.
Oh, Mildred.
Tabby is really afraid of flying.
Makes sense for a cat.
And it results in Mildred, crash landing in a snowdrift.
Not a great start to the term.
Not at all.
So this less than graceful arrival, it really kind of reinforces Mildred's status as an outsider.
Right.
And then she gets an unpleasant summons to Miss Cackle's study.
Oh. Poor Mildred.
Maud, is like sweetly hoping for a warm fire and a friendly chat with Miss Cackle.
Oh, bless her heart.
But knowing Mildred's past experiences with the headmistress, it just makes you nervous for her.
I can only imagine.
Sadly, Maud's optimism, it's totally unfounded.
Oh, no.
This summons, it's not just about the turbulent landing.
Oh.
Miss Cackle has serious reservations about Tabby.
About the cat.
She calls him a useless creature.
Oh, right.
Because of his markings.
His markings?
He's a tabby.
Oh, right. Not a black cat.
And this is where the main conflict starts.
Okay.
Miss Cackle wants Mildred to take Fenella Feverfew's black cat, Ebony.
I remember Fenella.
Who was left behind after Fenella transferred.
Right.
And in exchange...
Tabby would become the school kitchen mouser.
A mouser?
Yeah.
So this proposition...
I know.
It's really like cutting into Mildred's heart.
I know.
This bond she has with Tabby.
It's so strong.
Over 2 years, it's more than just a pet.
Right.
Tabby really depends on Mildred.
Yeah.
This is forcing Mildred to deal with a rigid institutional decision that doesn't even consider their connection.
Right. It's all about roles.
Their affection is heartbreaking.
It really highlights that tension between logic and emotion.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
So Mildred tries to explain that Tabby really doesn't like mice.
Oh, wow.
But Miss Cackle just laughs and says, nonsense. Mildred, no cat is afraid of mice.
Oh, dear.
She really thinks this is a good trade.
A good trade.
A better familiar for Mildred.
Right.
And, pest control. Mildred is crushed. She's trying so hard not to cry.
Poor Mildred.
As she takes Ebony and leaves Tabby in the kitchen.
In the kitchen with all those mice he hates. This really shows how the institution focuses on, conformity and functionality above individual needs and emotions.
Like, Miss Cackle might have good intentions.
Maybe.
But she's so focused on this idea of a proper witch's familiar that she just completely misses the point of their relationship.
Yeah.
But just when everything seems hopeless, there's a glimmer of hope.
What is it?
Miss Hardbroom makes a surprising announcement.
What is it?
Mr. Rowan Webb, remember him?
Oh, yeah, the magician.
The one Mildred rescued last term.
I remember.
He's invited Mildred's whole form to the Seaside for a week.
Wow, what a nice guy.
As a thank you.
So thoughtful.
The girls are obviously thrilled.
Of course, a seaside trip.
And even Miss Hardbroom sounds a bit you know.
Like she doesn't really want to.
Like she's reluctantly admitting that Mildred did something good.
Yeah.
But of course, Mildred's first thought
is Tabby.
Can Tabby come?
Of course.
But Miss Hardbroom shuts that down immediately.
No surprise there.
So now the Seaside trip is getting closer.
Yeah.
But Tabby's stuck in the kitchen.
Poor Tabby.
Mildred tries to sneak in to see him, but it doesn't really work.
So sad.
Then there's an announcement that gives Mildred an idea.
What is it?
All the cats have to travel to Grim Cove in baskets.
Okay.
And this is where Operation Rescue Tabby begins.
Operation Rescue Tabby.
Mildred's plan to swap Ebony for Tabby.
Oh, wow. She's really going for it.
Before they leave for the trip.
To ski?
It's the morning of the trip.
Okay.
And Mildred is up way before anyone else.
Determined.
So she gets Ebony, puts him in a basket, and goes to the kitchen.
Okay.
It's deserted.
Okay.
And guess what?
Why?
Mice are everywhere.
Oh, no. Tabby's not a good mouser.
Not at all.
Poor Tabby.
Mildred calls his name.
Oh.
And their reunion is so sweet.
I bet.
There's happy meowing and cuddling, and I think even some tears for Mildred.
He must be so relieved.
There's a half-eaten kipper on the floor.
Oh, so he at least tried.
He tried.
Yeah. So this reunion,
it
really shows how much Tabby means to Mildred.
Right. She's risking a lot to have him back, even for a little while.
Yeah.
And the way she swaps the cats in the baskets.
Yeah, it just shows how determined she is.
So much dedication.
Her motivation is simple. She just wants her friend back.
That's beautiful.
But things don't go exactly as planned.
Oh, no.
The swap takes longer than she thought.
Okay.
And when she gets to the courtyard, everyone's already there.
Oh, no. Everyone's waiting.
Miss Cackle, Miss Hardbroom.
The worst people to be late for.
Miss Hardbroom is not happy about Mildred being late.
I bet not.
Mildred quickly says that Ebony didn't want to get in his basket.
A likely story.
But it's enough.
For now.
So they all take off on their broomsticks.
Students, luggage cats in baskets.
The whole lot.
Quite the sight.
But then Tabby starts yowling.
Oh, no, from the
basket.
So much for a quiet cat.
Ethel hears it first, of course.
Ethel always notices.
And then Miss Hardbroom.
Ethel makes her usual snide comments.
Of course she does.
About Mildred and Ebony.
Right.
Miss Hardbroom yells, asking what's going on.
What does Mildred say?
Mildred thinks fast and says that Ebony ate a huge mouse and is feeling sick.
Another believable excuse.
It's not very convincing.
Yeah, I bet.
But it works for now.
She's really good at thinking on her feet.
She has to be.
Right.
So they've been flying for about an hour.
Okay.
Everyone's getting tired.
Yeah.
And Tabby is still crying.
Poor Tabby.
It's driving everyone crazy.
I bet.
Finally, Miss Cackle and Miss Hardbroom decide to stop for breakfast.
Okay.
They land by a river.
Sounds nice.
But Mildred isn't thinking about food.
No. She's worried about Tabby.
She has to keep Tabby from being discovered.
Yeah.
So as they're landing,
yeah,
Mildred crashes her broom into a thicket on purpose.
Crashes on purpose.
She blames it on the weight on her broom. A calculated accident.
It is.
It buys her some time.
Yeah.
So they don't check on Tabby right away. Miss Hardbroom is not impressed.
I bet.
She says that Mildred being there is ruining her appetite.
That sounds like her.
While Mildred is stuck in the bushes.
Yeah.
She's whispering to Tabby to be quiet.
Trying to keep him calm.
They have breakfast, including kippers.
Kippers.
Which Mildred wants to save for Tabby.
Oh, of course, for Tabby.
Then Miss Hardbroom makes Ethel help Mildred out of the thicket.
Ethel helping. That's funny.
It's not very graceful.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Luckily, Tabby has calmed down.
Okay, good.
Maybe he's tired from all the crying? So even with all the chaos,
yeah,
Mildred's main focus is still Tabby.
That's really sweet.
It really shows the conflict in the story.
Yeah.
Her loyalty to Tabby versus the rules of the academy.
It's a tough spot.
Finally, they reach Grim Cove. And Gloom Castle.
Doesn't sound very pleasant.
It's not.
Oh, no.
The sun's gone behind clouds. It's raining.
Okay.
And the coastline is just cliffs and a rough sea.
Not the best seaside location.
Gloom Castle is even worse than his cackles.
Wow.
It's all foggy.
Okay.
And there are seagulls everywhere.
Spooky.
Mildred says, no wonder they call it Grim Cove.
Yeah, I agree.
This whole thing reminds me of Mindful Moments in our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It's a YouTube channel with AI audiobook analysis.
I've heard of that.
They explore themes of resilience and resourcefulness in stories like this.
That's great.
So the girls were expecting a sunny beach vacation.
Right, a fun time.
But Grim Cove is anything but sunny.
Yeah, quite the opposite.
It's almost funny how different it is.
It is.
It shows you how unpredictable their world is.
Right. Magic can be unpredictable.
And it makes you think there might be more trouble ahead.
Maybe.
The dormitory they get is just as gloomy. It's in the West Wing. It's cold and drafty. With mismatched beds.
That's been very luxurious.
Ethel, of course, takes the only good bed.
Classic Ethel.
Mildred gets stuck with a rush mat. Under a drafty window.
Oh, that's rough.
Then all the other girls let their black cats out of their baskets.
Oh, crap.
The room is full of meowing.
A lot of black cats.
Maud asks where Ebony is.
Oh.
Mildred has to think fast.
Yeah.
She says that Ebony's not feeling well.
Another excuse.
And she takes his basket out of the room.
Okay.
It's all those black cats that make Tabby stand out even more.
Yeah, you wouldn't fit in.
And Mildred lying about Ebony being sick.
Uh-huh.
It just shows how quick she is on her feet.
She has to be to keep this secret.
She's out in the corridor now.
Okay.
It's dim.
Okay.
She's looking out at the cove.
At the rough sea.
And she gets another idea.
What is it?
She's going to hide Tabby in the little boat in the cove.
Oh, wow. That's a bold move.
She goes down the cliff steps.
Carefully, I hope.
To the beach.
With Tabby.
With Tabby in the basket.
It's dark and dangerous.
It is.
She's really going all out for him.
She is.
Going down that cliff.
Yeah.
Like going into the unknown.
Right. It's risky.
It really shows her dedication.
She finds the boat, and it has a little cabin.
A cabin. Perfect.
Perfect hiding place.
Yeah.
She goes back to the dorm.
Okay.
And tells everyone that Ebony jumped out the window.
Another unlikely story.
Ethel makes some more nasty comments.
Of course she does.
Then Miss Hardbroom comes in.
Oh, no.
She praises Ethel for being tidy.
Oh, wow.
And then yells at Mildred for mumbling under her breath.
Classic Miss Hardbroom.
Classic Miss Hardbroom.
Always on Mildred's case.
Always.
Miss Hardbroom appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And always favoring Ethel.
It's like a constant obstacle for Mildred.
It's like the academy itself is against her.
Yeah.
Trying to keep her down.
The next morning, the weather is much better.
Oh, good.
And they announce a beach day.
Fab.
With breakfast on the beach.
Even better.
The girls are excited.
I bet.
Mildred checks on Tabby in the boat.
Is he okay?
He's fine.
Good.
They have this huge breakfast spread on the beach.
Oh,
with kippers.
Tabby's favorite.
Mildred sneaks some for Tabby. Then Miss Hardbroom decides to teach them broomstick water skiing.
Wow, that sounds dangerous.
Ethel shows off.
As usual.
But she almost crashes because she's too close to the water.
Oh.
And Mildred is freaking out.
Why? What's wrong?
Because she can't swim.
Oh.
She tries to hide it.
Yeah.
So we've seen Mildred do everything she can to keep Tabby with her.
It's amazing.
Go into this creepy, grim cove.
Yeah.
Tabby's hidden in a boat.
Hopefully safe.
And Mildred can't even swim.
A lot of challenges.
But through it all,
yeah,
you see how loyal she is to Tabby.
Yeah.
And how she's so resourceful.
So creative.
She bends the rules.
She does.
But she's doing it for a good reason.
I think so.
Mildred's dedication to Tabby, even with all the risks, it really makes you think about their bond.
It does.
And what's really important, is it following the rules no matter what? Or is it about compassion and loyalty?
Good question.
So what do you think? How far would you go for someone you love?
That's a tough one.
Would you bend the rules?
I don't know.
What do you think makes someone truly good?
I guess it depends.
If you want to find out what happens to Mildred and Tabby, subscribe to the show.
Okay.
And we'll see if her secret is discovered.
I can't wait.
And if you know anyone who likes stories about, heartwarming rebellion, share this with them.
I will.
And there's a link in the show notes where you can buy the whole story.
Oh, cool.
If you want to dive deeper into Mildred's world.
I might do that.
And as always, we want you to think critically about the stories you hear and the messages they send.
It's important.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.
Bye.